Hello, friends, and welcome back. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, one and all. I am enjoying some Haunted Bookshop in the Matches Memorial. Already off to a good start. The Matches Memorial Friday at 7 LES is the tradition here on the Friday night CaneRod Pipes Virtual Pipe Club. And I see we got quite a few folks assembled already. It's great to see you all. I am happy to be here. I have had a week. I'm going to be tired. I was tired last week. I apologize for that. I just have not been myself lately, and it's just because work has been killing me. And yeah, but hopefully the next 90 minutes will be entertaining and enjoyable for one and all. Let's see who we have assembled here so far. I see we've got David G. Good to see you, David. There's Paul Rapp. California, huh, Paul? Sorry about that. Stephen Skip, good to see you, folks. Hope you're doing well. David Bookshop, Rob Link. Rob says everything he smoked in the past few days tastes like dirt. Has that ever happened to any of you? Yes, Rob, it has. And the thing that often brings me out of it is a cigar, believe it or not. If I'm smoking pipes and I just lose the flavor, I smoke a cigar and it seems to just reinvigorate my palate. So something like that, maybe taking a couple days off, I don't know. David G is smoking autumn evening in a calabash. How about that? And he's switching over to Haunted Bookshop once the chat begins. Yeah. Gary Edmonster, hello Gary. Pondering with Pepe's Pipes. Good to see you back, Pepe, at Pondering Pepe's Pipes #2. Good to see you back, buddy. Cypress Piper, Jeffrey Feinberg, Flint Hill, Briar Codger, Jim smoking some Georgia pollen. Jim, I know that pollen well. I scraped it off my car. Looks like Jeffrey's got half and half, which is very nice. Patrick Grant, good to see you, Patrick. Hope all is well with you. There's Gordy, Ghost Rider, checking in from Australia. Good to see you, Ghost Rider. James Steidle, everything just jumped on me. James Steidle, Sebastian Horton, there's Carrie. Hello, Carrie. Big Dave, good to see you, Big Dave. Bona Piper, my buddy Christian, always good to see you. And Michael Case, 67, and sunny in the Pacific Northwest. Can't complain about that. It's actually been a bit cool here this week, which kind of surprised me because we had a very nice weekend last week. Pepe's finishing a bowl, then a cigar by a Macanudo Inspiration Black. Enjoy, Pepe, enjoy. There's Alex Saunders Jr., Couch saying to buy high, sell low. I don't know that that's a good idea, but don't take your stock advice from a guy named Couch. Is the bottom line. Let's see who else we got hanging out here. Sebastian said hello. Lurker Troy. Michael Case says that Sancho Panza cigars sometimes taste like dirt to him. Yeah, cigars can do that too. Gary Edminster, I can't remember if you were in the earlier crowd there, Gary, but hello. Carl Kessler, smoking some Robert McConnell Red Virginia. Wanda Piper's got Union Square in his mirror. Nice, Christian. With some Baileys. Oh, very cool. Uh, the Salute Spring, yes, and a long time coming it has been. There's Reno, Nevada, and I believe we are all caught up. So hello, everyone. It's great to see you tonight. And I gotta say, it's getting harder to say hello, but it's great. I mean, I don't look at the analytics very often, but I did check them out after the last show just out of curiosity, and we're getting a record number of people not just showing up but staying for the whole show, and that to me is really more important. I don't care if I get a peak viewership of 700 people, but if I still have, if I start off with 30 people and I still got 30 people at the end, I'm proud of that. And it's been better than that. So where did I put my lighter? I'm sure they're all just staying tuned to see if I can find my lighter. But yeah, it's been. I'm really proud of that. And you should be proud of it too, because let's face it, you're not here for me. You're here for one another. You're here to chat amongst yourselves, and I just keep things going, and I'm glad to have that opportunity. Skip is making tea from your mint plant that's doing it. I've done that stuff, and it's amazing how good the tea can be from a mint plant. Yeah. Sensei McGiggles tuning in from Virginia. Great to have you, Sensei. Sensei McGiggles may have my favorite YouTube handle. Steph's got veggies already flowering. I haven't even planted mine yet. My goodness. Oh, Couch, you got a new kitten that's missing parts. I guess he is none too happy. But the good news is he doesn't know what he's missing. Bob Kraus made it. Good to see you, Bob. And there's the one PS who grows catnip and it makes great mint tea. Interesting. I don't know if that's a good idea there, one PS. Gordy, it is a great group. It really is. And I'm just happy you guys let me hang out with you. Yeah, Mother Nature needs to get back on her meds for sure, Piper, on the 45. 80s and storms for yeah, it's been like that here too. We were close to 80, if not 80 last Saturday, and we were down in the 40s for most of this week, at least in the morning. The Smooth Piper, happy Friday, Peter. Good to see you, buddy. Carrie is having a garage lime beer, and she's already smoked a bowl of the blend for the Codger Challenge. Oh my goodness. You're going into the Codger Challenge then, Carrie. That's good luck. Good luck. It's a lot of fun. Catnip is a mint, says one PS. I believe you. I just don't know if I want to drink it. But I'm not a cat, of course. So what do I know? And of course, it's only called catnip. Because, yeah, I know. Dose of Dad has smoked nothing but Haunted Bookshop for the past 3 years, and he's blaming me for making it sound so appealing. In my defense, Dose of Dad, I don't think I've ever really gone on and on about how wonderful Haunted Bookshop is, other than I like it. But hey, I hope you're enjoying it, because I've smoked very little but it for the past 3 days too. Although we're going to fix that tonight, because tonight is, of course, the Tobacco of the Month choice. But long before we get to that, I need a drink, because I'm getting a little bit parched. Skip is listening but watching baseball. I wish I was listening but watching baseball. Hello, Skip. Enjoy the game, buddy. So, I am going to have a Yingling tonight. Partly because we went out to dinner tonight, so I've already had one beer. And partly because it was the first thing that came to hand when I reached into the fridge. So, we shall pour the Yingling. And speaking of baseball, I was watching the Phillies home opener. And I thought it was very funny because, we're pretty big Yingling territory around these parts. And I believe that Yingling even has some sponsorship in the in a stadium. I mean, it's not like it's Yuengling Stadium or anything, but like some of the backdrops and stuff, it's Yuengling. Yet Budweiser was trying to have a Budweiser promotional thing where I think they were, I don't know, I don't think they can give away beer, but there was some sort of a promotional thing, and they were really pushing it during the broadcast. And it was clear that there weren't a lot of people interested. I think the only way to sell less beer than Budweiser at a Phillies game would be to try to sell it at a Snow White movie, but we won't talk about that because I got other things to talk about. I'm glad you like it, Dosadad. PVC plug. Not sure what the PVC plug is. I don't quite buy it by the ton, Carl. That's not true. I do buy a couple pounds every couple of months, so I'm buying probably more than most people, but it's really is the primary thing that I smoke, so. Phillies ahead 1-0 in the bottom of the sixth, says Michael. Thank you, Michael. Oh, the plug. Okay, gotcha, Dose of Dad. Okay, yeah. When I pressed the plug of Haunted Bookshop in the PVC pipe. Okay, yeah, yeah. That was actually an unusual. It was unusual in that a few years later, Cornell and Deal did the same thing, and theirs was different than mine, which I still don't quite understand. Uh, but yeah, mine just seemed to mellow out and maybe smoke a little bit longer. Theirs seemed to become flavorless somehow. It's very strange. Ronnie Ewing just hit the power and the motor hummed. Blade didn't move. Could be my tension. Could my tension be too tight? Ronnie, I do not know what we're talking about. Motor hummed, blade didn't move. Are you talking about a lawnmower? I don't know. Sebastian Horton, no problem, buddy. Had a huge package of tobacco come today. Forgot to buy Mason. Oh, man, yeah. I've had that happen myself. So what you do, Sebastian, is you say, okay, while I'm waiting to get the jars, I'm just going to open these bags and I'll smoke it just a little bit until I get the jars, and magically it will all disappear. Yeah. I don't know how it works, but Kansas City 1, Baltimore Orioles 2, top of the second. Thank you, Step and Skip. Oh, he's talking about a bandsaw, Patrick. Okay. So let's see. Hit the power. The motor hummed. Blades didn't move. Well, take the tension off the blade. Actually, take the blade off the bandsaw and see if the tires, if the lower tire spins. And if that's the case, we got it's a delta. So does the lower tire spin if you don't have a blade on it? J-Dog Pimp Patty C. How you doing, J-Dog? Yes, this is the Matches Memorial Friday 7, Ellie, the one that was made in his memory, one-time run, and it's a Friday night tradition here. Rocky stinks, says Lurker Troy. Yeah, well. Ah, you're doing the Cadre Challenge, so you don't get to open them. Okay. In that case, you need some jars quick. Hey, Armchair Piper. How you doing, Ed? Good to see you tonight, buddy. Ron Hardcrackers. Hello. Oh, Flint Hill, that's the biggest bunch of baloney I've ever heard about. Not even gonna justify it with anything beyond that. Ain't that the problem, Christian? You know, you always have the jars ready, but the truth is, you shouldn't need new jars. You should finish up a jar before you open a new tin. Yeah. Yeah, nothing wrong with the previously filled jars, right, Carl? Ronnie, sometimes things just magically get better if you wait until morning. If nothing else, you'll have a fresh outlook on it, right? Honestly, Sebastian, if it's coming in these sorts of bags, you got some time. You don't have to you don't have to rush it. Oh, Doug, I'll fill you in. So there is a tobacco, and it's actually going to be one of the tobaccos we're looking at tonight as a potential tobacco of the night. It's Cornell and Deal the Beast, which is a uh, small batch run. Uh, they put a lot of Perique in it, and Aleister Crowley was known for smoking Perique tobacco, so they said that it was the Beast in honor of Aleister Crowley and whatnot. Aleister Crowley was a I don't know what you'd even call him, a spiritualist, a materialist. He probably wasn't a flat out Satan worshiper, but he did get that label over the years. And now there's some radical folk saying, "Oh, we got to boycott Cornell and Deal because Aleister Crowley was a Satanist and they're making satanic tobacco." And you know, the whole thing is just ridiculous. You know, if your faith is that weak that you can't smoke a tobacco that's got somebody's name on it, you know, or you can't allow other people. That's the thing. Don't buy it, but don't tell me to boycott. For goodness sakes, it's a good tobacco. So anyway, I could go on. I might go on. I might have a sun. Depending on which tobacco we pick this evening, I may have a Sunday diatribe on this. Ah, J Dog. Well, something to look forward to, huh? Ton of vanilla Cavendish and some English that's been wax sealed. Cool. Well, I hope you enjoy that, buddy. I think you're right about that, Flint Hill. Yeah. That's right, Christian. 3-star blue is Bonapiper nailed it. That is funny. Right, Lord Hogarth, right. You know, if if you have faith and you believe that people like Crowley are misguided and damned to hell, well, so be it. He's been dead for 80 years. We don't have to still be tormented by him. Excellent point. Michael, I've actually gotten some jars, large jars like gallon, not gallon. They can't be gallon. They must be like 2 quart or something. Jars at farm stores, and they do have good prices on them usually. Piper on the 45 so has Old Joe Krantz red label from 2021 and a 673. Sounds pretty good. Yeah, I didn't think he was a Satanist, Cypress Piper. I can't think of what the actual term is, um, but it doesn't really matter. You know, that's the thing. It's all. I think certain people like to turn these things into things just so that they remain relevant, and I think that's what we're dealing with here. And just to be completely transparent, do not, I did not see any of these videos. I've had other people tell me about them, uh, and I don't waste my time watching it. You bought a ThinkPad for Arch. Well, Couch, that's the only way to do Arch Linux. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's one of those things where you keep tinkering and tinkering, and then all of a sudden it works, and then you just continue to tinker. It's never done. The Smooth Piper just got a pound of English luxury and HGL. It will keep in the bag for how long? Ah, Peter, I keep Haunted Bookshop in the bag forever. So yeah, but I can't say for certain. It depends. Like HGL's got some topping to it, so that may not keep as long. The English luxury might dry out a bit. It's hard to say, Peter, but I think you got months. I think you probably got a couple of months. Ronnie, it certainly is possible to have bandsaw blades too tight, but it's unlikely that's going to stop it from spinning. Well, yeah, Steph and Skip. Everybody knows the moon landing was, you know. Sebastian Horton just got 4 pounds. You do need some jars, Sebastian. Are those two things related, Couch? Arch going on an old MacBook and the cat attacking Yelva? I can see them being related. I can imagine Chris saying that, Ron. That makes perfect sense. Lurker Troy, that is the best place to store your Haunted Bookshop. No question about it. You know, Jeffrey, I think the Ozzy Osbourne song probably did more to convince people that Crowley was a Satanist than anything that Crowley ever did. Crowley wasn't a nice fellow, don't get me wrong. I've got no admiration for the man, but nevertheless, he wasn't as bad as people make him out to be. Boy, if Italy doesn't like you, you got problems, Flint Hill. Poor Elva. I can just imagine her being the victim there, Couch. Carl Kessler, I think you're right that most laden blends would survive the apocalypse and still be moist, but you can never be too certain. So I didn't want to give advice not knowing those blends and not having experience. Well, if Grok says he's an occultist, that's good enough for me. 1 PS. Yeah, an occultist is broad enough. Why not? I mean, that just means he believes in things that most people don't believe in, right? Pirate Frog, you can't be late. You're just in time, buddy. Yeah, Doug, you know, there's always going to be the fringe that believe such things, but anyone logical would not disrespect Neil Armstrong in such a way. And it does take a special man to sit on top of that much explosive and somehow believe that he's going to be able to come back. Oh, Rob Link, that's a good one. That's a good one. You roller skated to Ozzy's song? Ha! I briefly dated a woman in the 90s who was a very big Ozzy Osbourne fan, early 90s, and that's the only reason I know anything about him. Yeah, it was very brief. I'm getting a phone call from Scam Likely. We should, but I won't. That could have been a fun, entertaining segment. Alice Cooper live, really, Steph? I'm surprised he's still doing that. Man, that must have been fun. Mushroom Leg, good evening, sir. Good to see you there, Ray. Well, it sounds like a pretty reasonable blend there, Carrie. Got a little bit of everything. It has been a long week this week, Robbie. I feel you. Thank you, Jeffrey. Yes, the like buttons help, guys. If you don't mind taking a brief microsecond to press the like button, I'd appreciate it. Poem's giving us a nice definition of occultist. So basically, the guy that writes the horoscopes for the daily paper is an occultist. I think Alice Cooper is one of those guys that you can't really appreciate unless you see him live, and I've never had the pleasure, but yeah, I can imagine that's got to be a very unique experience. You guys are lucky. Ronnie Ewing, speed skating team. My goodness. Oh, Willie Nelson. My goodness, that's going to be good. I envy you guys. Skatosaurus mushroom like that? A skating dinosaur? That's ice skating, I'm assuming. Yeah, he did, was it his 90th birthday tour last year? I thought about trying to see that, but every place that I checked was sold out almost instantly. Well, Dose of Dad, I don't know if there is a 51% Perique blend, but the Tobacco of the Month vote is coming up, and Without giving too much away, although I already kind of hinted at it, there is a very high Perique blend in the Tobacco of the Month this month, which I would love to imperil my immortal soul by smoking. Yeah, I heard Alice Cooper really has done some really good stuff, Ronnie. So glad to see that. Oh, an organ player at a roller rink, Michael. That must have been cool. You know, David, just the other day, I said to my wife, how is it possible that Jimmy Buffett's dead? Because we were talking about concerts we'd like to see and won't be able to. It's hard to imagine those two together, isn't it, Christian? Alice Cooper and Glenn Campbell of all people. Glenn Campbell is one of those people that I didn't appreciate until I was much older. You know, when I was younger, I just thought he was goofy and campy, but he's got some good songs. And maybe that's just what happens to you as you get older. You start to appreciate things that you, or maybe you just lose your ear for music. I don't know. I think a lot of people were toasted after that birthday, Rob. Pirate Frog wants to know if I have a favorite Gilligan's Island episode. Oh boy. You know, Robbie, to be honest, I have not seen them in so long. Um, but I can tell you a couple. There's an episode where they grow giant vegetables, but the vegetables are rock hard and they can't eat them. I always enjoyed that one because there was a lot of professor in that. And for those of you that don't know, I do science for a living, and the professor was like my earliest influence as a scientist. The professor on Gilligan's Island. It was him and actors like, well, you know, the Universal. Why can't I think of Hammer Studios? Peter Cushing. There we go. Actors like that would play these scientists, not the evil scientists necessarily, but the good scientists that the town would come to for help. Yeah. So yeah, I like the one with the vegetables that got real big. I also like the one where they found the piece of the transatlantic cable that allowed them to make phone calls. That was a good one. Um, yeah, but they're all good. But I haven't watched them in a very long time. I don't know that much about Campbell's guitar playing, Jeffrey, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he had a great voice, and some of the what is it called, lineman for the county. That's a great song. If you really listen to it, it's a really good song. And the other one, something of my mind. Can't think of the title right now. It'll come to me. But yeah, he's got some really good songs. Oh, thank you, Ronnie. It's always fun. Mike McElfresh asking, what's my favorite aromatic blend? It would be Autumn Evening, hands down. The Beast is 51% Perique. Well, Dose of Dead, hang around then, because you might have a chance to force that on me. Oh no, we're not going to do Marianne or Ginger again, David. We've firmly decided that it's Marianne. I think it was something like that, Pirate Frog. Yeah. Pussy Bagumba. There you go, Pump. Anyone watch Jacob's Ladder from the early 90s? It's not ringing a bell, Ronnie. Wichita Lineman. Gentle on My Mind. Thank you, James. Yes, that's the one I could not think of. Gentle on My Mind. That's a great song too. But Wichita Lineman, I mean, it's if you really listen to the words, it's a really sad, touching song. Yes, Mushroom Lake, we know you love Mrs. Howe. You're just odd. Todd Munson, good evening. In Reno, Nevada, good to see you. Oh, was that sped up, Doug? I always thought that the guitar on that sounded a little fast. So that's interesting. That is interesting. The guy who wrote Polk Salad and he wrote Lineman? I can't think of who that was. Doug, if Diana Rigg was on the island, there's no question about it. I mean, people wouldn't even be having this discussion of Ginger and Mary Ann. It would just obviously be Diana Rigg. First existential country song. That's an interesting way to think about it, Flint. Sebastian, most tobacconists, and Doug, correct me if I'm wrong about this, but most tobacconists will buy like 5 pounds of tobacco at a time, maybe more than that, and they will keep them in a bag. You see a small amount of that in a jar, but most of it's sitting in a bag somewhere. So I think it'll be fine for a month in a bag, but Doug, please let me know if you agree or disagree, because you've handled much more tobacco than I have. That was a good one, Big Dave. Gilligan's Marriage, yes. Are you serious, Christian? So you met out in the wild, met another pipe smoker, and he watches the live, and he knew who you were. That is cool. That is really cool. Another favorite Gilligan episode was with the giant spider, the giant bird-eating spider. It's all he got left because an alligator bit it. Oh my. Jimmy Webb wrote Wichita Lineman. Okay, that's not who I was thinking of, but okay, so Doug either had the 1 pound or the 5 pound bags. But did those 5 pound bags, like if you bought a 5 pound bag from Lane or Stokeby, did you have to immediately jar that, or could you keep it in the bag for a while? Ah, here we go. So Paragon Piper saying when he worked at Tinderbox, they had 50-pound bags and it was fine for a couple months. And I remember going to a tobacconist in Atlanta, um, where I wanted a tobacco that they didn't have out, and she actually went in the back and pulled out this big giant bag, and just it was fine. So that's apparently how they stored it. Hey Christian, I'm not just a celebrity. Since it happened to you, that means I'm an international celebrity. I hope you know I only said that because I think it's hilarious, not because I'm in any way impressed with myself. Meeting pipe smokers other places is always fantastic, but Finland, that must have been really cool, Steph. Amish Moses, Michael? Sensei McGiggles got to meet Mr. Miyagi. My goodness. Oh, that is cool, Ron. Glenn Campbell was just one of the poor folk picking music all day. Wow. Now there's a brush with greatness, Sensei McGiggles. He won. He gets to take him home. He met the guy who played the principal on Boy Meets World. Wow. Okay, thank you, Doug. So Doug says if you firmly tie the bag tightly shut after jamming it, even the non-aromatics like Englishes are fine for months. So, yeah, I think you'll be okay. Oh, that's cool, Steph. I haven't heard from Boris in a long time. I hope he's doing well. And I'd love to. Miko seems like a really interesting guy. Amos. Okay, Michael. Sorry. This stream is going into some very deep rabbit holes. So Captain Kangaroo was Alice Cooper's dad, Ronnie? I'm just going to skip over the fact that you met Captain Kangaroo. You were on the show. That's cool. What did I have for dinner, Sebastian? We went out to dinner tonight, and I had some eggplant parmesan. We were hoping to go to a smaller bar that served fish sandwiches, but unfortunately they were too crowded. So we wound up going to another restaurant, and the best selection they had, we decided on the. I got the eggplant parmesan. My wife got some tortellini. Uh, so that was that. Oh, Robbie was the skipper's little buddy. Isn't that nice? Mr. Dressup was a close second to Captain Kangaroo in Detroit, huh, rookie old guy? Never heard of Mr. Dressup, but I can imagine. Oh, not jamming, jarring. Okay, Doug, sorry. I think it still makes sense. The Big Dave says that Alice Cooper's dad was a name I'm not going to try to pronounce. Ether Moroni Fournier? Really? It's another way to do it, Christian. I mean, the only thing with keeping all the bags in a jar is if you're mixing like um, aromatics in English or something like that, you might get some crossovers. But yeah, that's fine too. Oh, very cool, Brian. Kamoy tradition all cleaned up. Mr. Green Jeans leisure shoot, huh, Ronnie? Oh, Doug, you're just that's terrible. Captain Kangaroo wasn't like that at all. And wasn't Clarabelle originally played by what's his name? The weather guy. The weather guy. I can't think of his name now. But he was the original Clarabelle. Mr. Dressup was the Canadian Captain Kangaroo. I see. Ah, fake Charlie Pride, huh, David G? That's funny. Well, Poem, first off, if you grew up in the areas that my wife and I grew up in, Friday fish sandwiches on during Lent is like the best thing that can happen. So don't disparage the fish sandwich. Second, it wasn't a fish sandwich restaurant. It was a bar that just happened to be crowded, but they sell fish sandwiches. I like eggplant parm, Michael. I really do. I like eggplant. My wife doesn't, so we very rarely cook it here. But if I get a chance to get it when I'm out, I often will. That's exactly why I was busy, Gary. Yeah. Willard Scott, that's who I was thinking of, Steph. So is that true that Willard Scott was Clarabelle, or am I making that up? Because now that I think about it, maybe Willard Scott was the original Ronald McDonald. He was some clown. Wow, Michael Case is saying he thinks it was Ronald McDonald. Maybe that's what I was thinking of. Beowulf and Miss Kathy, how are you guys doing? Great to see you, Steve and Kathy. Usually women prefer eggplant, really, Christian? Because that's not true here. Yes, Sensei, the problem is that I often have fish on Friday, even when it's not Lent. And to me, the idea of going out for fish and chips on a Friday is really not giving very much up. So it's sort of I would probably do more to sacrifice if I didn't eat fish on Fridays. That sounds good, Peter. Whiting is a good fish for sure. Oh, Doug, that kind of tuna melt is fantastic, especially if it's on sourdough. Chat's moving too fast for me to keep up. Yes, Michael, Lent is the reason why the fish sandwich exists at McDonald's. And the funny thing is, it was actually, they had a competition because the other possibility was a slice of grilled pineapple on a burger, which did not do as well. So Doug's confirming Willard Scott was Ronald McDonald. I think you and Michael are right about that. I don't know who Clarabelle was. Hey, Google, who was the original Clarabelle the Clown on Howdy Doody? Google will tell us.
Clarabelle the Clown was played by Bob Keeshan.
That's it. Bob Keeshan was Clarabelle. So Bob Keeshan is Captain Kangaroo. Doug, you were playing around with us. Now it makes sense. Vegetarian pizza's good stuff, Gary. Um, and I saw somebody else say something about local church for fish fry. I love doing that, Robbie. We don't have any around here that really do it. But when we visit Pittsburgh during Lent, all the churches do it. And it's amazing. My wife was telling me this one church does something like 2,000 pounds of fish a week. I just can't believe how much fish they're selling. Dry Fly Fisher 11, I know that I have that video, a DVD of that video with Everett Garrison, and that's one of the reasons why I got my first Falcon was because I just thought it was so cool how he would smoke his Falcon when he was working on fly rods. So it's a great video. And I got to meet Garrison. I never got to meet, but I did get to meet Hoagie Carmichael, who is the son of Hoagie Carmichael, the jazz musician. and he signed my original copy of Garrison's book, which he co-authored with Garrison. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I love the history of that kind of stuff. I'm sorry, I'm falling way behind here. Tuna salad forever, indeed, Doug. Mud bug season. Oh, that is good. I see guys talking about the beast and the perique. I can't wait to try it. Hint, hint, hint. I know what you mean, Doug, and we're not going to talk about it. Willard Scott was Ronald McDonald from 63 to 65, says Patrick Grant. Wow. 50 pounds of cod a weekend for fish fries, says Mushroom Lake. My goodness. So how many pounds? I'm guessing a fish sandwich is only about a half pound, maybe quarter pound. I don't know. How much cod is on a fish sandwich? Masonic Lodge does a fish fry on Good Friday. That's interesting, James, considering the history of the Masons and the Catholics. Wow, Mitrovic. So you're doing full no meat for the whole of Lent? That's tough to do. Glad to hear it, Steve, Steve and Kathy. No more major health problems. That is fantastic. Cataract surgery. Kathy, I hope all goes well with that, and we'll keep you in our prayers. But I can tell you, I had it, and it was nothing, and boy, the benefits are amazing. So good luck with that. I'm sorry, guys. I love that there's so many folks here, but it's really hard for me to keep up with the chat tonight. It's just flying by. Pineapple does not belong on pizza, Pirate Frog. You're just wrong about that. Oh goodness, this is. Oh, I didn't even know I could. I almost put poem in timeout by mistake. I don't even know what that means. Doug, don't worry about it. I got plenty. I got plenty. But thank you for the offer, buddy. Yeah, the whole Hoagie Carmichael thing is so cool, Dry Fly Fisher, and he was such a nice guy to meet. I really enjoyed that. I mean, we chatted for about 20 minutes at one of the fly fishing shows, and he was just such a nice, humble guy um, who really loved bamboo fly rods, and you could just see it when you talk to him about how we talked about the material itself, the bamboo, and how it was just designed for its purpose. Well, it wasn't designed for that purpose, but it felt like it was designed for that purpose. And yeah, you met him, and it was like somebody that you knew your whole life. Will a hot dog work for Passover? I don't think so, Troy. I guess it depends on the hot dog. 6 ounces of fish in the fish sandwich. Okay. So that means you get three fish sandwiches per pound. So if somebody's selling 50 pounds of fish, that's 150 fish sandwiches. That's not so bad. But this church was claiming 1,000 pounds, which would be 3,000 fish sandwiches. Well, I guess it's reasonable if you're in a big area. The beast is still available, Robbie. You can buy it. At least Smoking Pipe still has it in stock. And I am not a big fan of limited blends or things like that, but I do like Perique. So. Little Piper Todd, how's it going? £40,000 of brisket every month? Holy cow, indeed, Paragon Piper. And I see what you did there. Thank you, Piper said. Yes, guys, please do hit the thumbs up. It really helps. The Beast is sold out. Oh, okay. Well, folks, I have completed the Haunted Bookshop, which means it's time for us to begin talking about the tobacco of the month. Last month was that wonderful McBaron tobacco, which I don't think you'll be seeing again on the show here. But I do appreciate the opportunity to give it a try. Thank you for that, my friends. Ah, Bob Euchre, yes. Rest in peace indeed, Doug. Sebastian, I highly recommend, and this doesn't work for everyone. Sebastian's asking for video ideas. Just turn the camera on and chat. Light a pipe and just tell us what's going on. You know, those are the kind of videos that I enjoy. I don't really, people talk about their collections and they give tobacco impressions and all that kind of stuff. That's all well and good, but I just like being able to smoke a pipe with someone. Christian, I think I'm a better man than someone that has to smoke 3-star blue treatment. In fact, I'm pretty certain that's hell. Oh, Mushroom Lake I used to make beer batter onion rings that were unbelievably good. I stopped making them simply because they were so unhealthy. I won again, Peter. Fish and chips with ketchup and vinegar is the way to go. I agree with you on the malt vinegar. The ketchup, though, I'm not a ketchup guy. But the malt vinegar I will go for. Oh, Serbian Orthodox. Gotcha, Mile. Yeah. Wow. That is admirable that you do that. God bless you, my friend. Oh, Sebastian, that's what I think you should aspire to then. I mean, if you like that and other videos, then do that. Because I think people will like it. And, occasionally you do something about a new tobacco or a new pipe or something, and that just keeps it interesting. But yeah, I mean, I've been doing this I've lost count of the number of years, and I very rarely have a true topic that I'm worried about for my next video. And thank goodness that you guys are good enough to watch it. Genuine enthusiasm. That's it, Mushroom Lake. I do like a bit of tartar sauce, Brian. Yeah, nothing bad about that. Joe Humphrey taught me to cast, Mike. Michael McElfresh. Yeah, I took a casting class with Joe Humphrey, and he is something else, man. And he taught me something really important. I was trying to get the cast right, and it's something I've struggled with for a long time. And I wasn't a novice when I took this class with him. And one of the things you learn when you're fly casting is that you're supposed to lock your wrist. So you cast with your elbow and the wrist stays locked. And I just have a bad habit of not doing that. And he came over and he saw me and he said, when you're casting forward, snap your wrist a little bit. Just give it a little tap. And that'll make the fly fall where you want it to. And I said, well, wait a minute. I've been told time and time again that that's not what you're supposed to do, that you're supposed to lock your wrist. And he said, yeah, those guys that tell you that, they know how to cast, but they don't know how to have fun. And it just opened up this whole world for me where I realized it doesn't matter if I'm using the proper form, so to speak, but I just got to get the fly to where it needs to be, and there's a lot of ways to do that, and you develop your own style. It kind of goes to that thing I was talking about a couple weeks ago in my Sunday video about if you meet the Buddha on the road. The same thing is true with fly casting. So let's talk about what this month's tobacco may indeed be. We've got three choices here. We've got three choices, and I ask you to vote wisely and not be at all influenced by the earlier conversations we had tonight. So, number one, and I admit this is a bit of a cheat, but I was scrambling tonight because we had gone out to dinner. I didn't have a lot of time to prepare. So number one, I did smoke last week, and that is the Cornell and Deal Habana Daydream. Actually, pay no attention to these numbers. I've already got the poll set up, and I have no idea what order they're in. You'll see a poll. You don't have to remember numbers, and do not vote until you see the poll, because I'm not going to read it unless you put it in the poll. So, one option is Habana Daydream from Cornell and Deal. Very nice blend. It has cigar leaf and a bit of latakia in it. The next possible choice, and again, these are not in any particular order, is this beautiful jar of Shandygaff. And this is not just Shandygaff, this is Shandygaff from 2015. And you might notice that there's a bit of a Cornell and Deal theme going on here. This is also a Cornell and Deal blend. This is 10-year-old Shandygaff in the jar. Fantastic summertime, springtime tobacco. So if you don't choose this month, it's going to come back every month until we're through the summer. And number three, it is Cornell and Deal Small Batch The Beast. This is from their 2023 version. This was tinned in February 2023. And this was a gift from my good friend Texas Piper Eddie. So, and this one has got a bit of a bulge going on in the bottom, so it really wants to be open. So that's what we got. We got the Shandygaff, we got the Beast, which is supposedly, if this is chosen, I'll read it to you in more detail, but I think that is very high Perique. It might be 51%. I've seen 60-some%. I haven't read the tin. And then we got Habana Daydream. So, with that in mind, we will switch over and hopefully get the poll running here. If Mike can find the poll. And vote away. We will let that run for a few minutes and see how it goes. And I'm going to give you a minute or two just to try to get as many votes as we can. Okay, it looks like the numbers have settled, so we're gonna end the poll. And let's see what we got. Uh-oh. Hopefully I can find the poll. Oh, I broke the live stream. I can fix it. There we go. All right, so the numbers are in. And boy, you guys did not like the Habana Daydream at all. We got 12% for Habana Daydream, 28% for Shandygaff, and 58% for Cornell and Deal the Beast. So, yeah, it will be cool to compare those, Doug. And I do have several tins of the new stuff coming in. I had already ordered it, but thank you again for the kind offer. So we'll hopefully be able to do that comparison. Let's see. Mile, that's the whole point. It's that self-control issue and everything. So, yes, so we are going to smoke the Devil's Blend tonight. Apparently you guys don't care much for my soul. No, honestly, I saw some people mentioning, some people that may think this is not something we should be smoking. I don't care. This is nothing personal. I do not watch that guy. I don't know. I don't even know his name. I'm sure I could conjure it up if I tried hard enough, but I have no interest in it. So let's try this. Again, this is a 2023 blend. It is a bit bulgy. Let's see if we can get I know you guys like the sound effects here, so. Oh, that didn't really hiss much at all, did it? Oh. That definitely has a wee bit of perique in it. Oh my, that is wonderful. So this is a small batch made in South Carolina. And let's see what they say here on the tin. So let's see, components: St. James Perique, Red Virginia Cavendish, Black Cavendish, and Dark Fired Kentucky. Blech. Not a fan of Dark Fired Kentucky. Alright, so this is what it says. Cornell & Deal small batch blends are handcrafted in small quantities by our expert blenders right here in South Carolina. Legend has it that Aleister Crowley, famed adept of the Order of the Golden Dawn and founder of the Ordo Tempi Orientis, is purported to have made a habit of smoking rum-soaked perique as a meditative aid. Okay. To date, many a dabbler has pursued his own manifestations of this concoction out of sheer curiosity. We have too. In the spirit of the nefarious occultist himself, we sought to tame the beast with our own rendering of the recipe, soaked for 7 days in spiced rum, so we might share our vision of it with the most inquisitive and brave of pipe smokers. Well, that is interesting. I did not know this had rum topping. Here at C&D, we set the standard for boutique hand-blended pipe tobacco by adhering to a simple idea: quality trumps quantity every time. And that's signed by Jeremy Reeves. Jeremy's a great guy. I've been a Cornell & Deal fan forever. I didn't know, but I talked to the guy who founded Cornell & Deal. Bought my first Cornell & Deal tobacco directly from him, and I promise you, I absolutely promise you, Cornell & Deal is not promoting the worship of Satan. So, let's load it up. Nice, typical Cornell & Deal sort of coarse ribbon cut. It smells unbelievable. Again, this is from 2023. Eric the Blue Collar Pipe Smoker, how you doing? There's Hazard Borden and But I Digress. I don't think I've seen you guys. The beast smells like gym socks. It does have a potent aroma to it, Mushroom Leg. I don't like comparing it to things like gym socks, but it's definitely pungent. The thing is, and I said this earlier, but I'm going to say it again. I just don't think that anyone's faith should... If your faith is so weak that because somebody's name is on something, you're going to somehow suffer for that, and who are you to assume that someone else's faith is so weak? I may do a video on it, although I hate adding to controversies. You guys are going to have to let me know, is this just something quirky, or is this actually heating up into a controversy? Because I don't want to fuel fire, but at the same time, I hate that people might feel bad about their choice of tobacco. This didn't say anything about the percentage of Perique. This Doug is a Briar Spirit pipe carved by Kurt Fitzgerald, who was Briar Spirit Pipes. Yeah, I think you're right. I see Michael K saying just ignore it, rookie old guy. Yeah. Yeah, I heard that, but I digress. And that's the thing that got me a little hot about it. It's all well and good to say I'm not going to do that, but to tell other people that they should boycott a business because you disagree with something as stupid as the fact that they mention someone on a label. I mean, come on. This is nice. This is very nice. It's surprising. It's not what I was expecting, to be honest. I was expecting something much more like a Virginia Perique, but this has got a it's got a very sour, deep note to it that I like. It's unique. This is good stuff. Is it really? Oh no, it's just 9:10. I thought it was 9:30. My goodness. Smooth Piper finally finishes Haunted Bookshop. Slowpoke. Me and Peter have a race every Friday to see who finishes their Haunted Bookshop first. Really, Gordy? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying, and I get that you don't want to open yourself up to such things, but again, there's got to be a crack for that to get in, and just having it in your hand isn't going to provide that crack. I've had straight Perique as well, Michael, and I have to say it's not pleasant. It's definitely a young man's smoke. Oh, Eric, it's so kind of you to offer me penance. That is the fun part, Robbie, indeed. Lucky you, huh? Couch, the winning tobacco for tobacco of the month is Cornell and Deal the Beast. Hazard Borden, it's been a long time since I had Shanae's cake. I do not remember it. But I would have to guess that this is probably so hang on, let me get back to it because I haven't done a retro hell yet, so this really isn't that overpowering. I mean, I know I'm smoking Perique. Um, I think if I'm remembering Shanae's cake correctly, and it has been a really long time, it was much more of a vapor, so it had more of a sweetness to it. This doesn't have a sweetness to it. And maybe it's because of that Virginia Cavendish and the addition of the dark fired. But this is much more sour than any Virginia Perique I've ever had. But in terms of just strength of the Perique, I'm not. It's not overwhelming to me. I haven't had the Pipe Force blends carry. I have a tin of one of them, but I've never opened it. Um, so I can't comment on that. But yeah, if you like Perique and Dark Fire, this would probably be something you'd like. Gary, that's an excellent point. Just because somebody does something on the internet doesn't mean you have to do it. And Peter's giving, Peter, I like your option of the 10 Hail Marys and 10 Our Fathers more than Eric's option of having to send him pipes and tobacco. It definitely is Oriental-like in the sourness, Michael. That's a good point. You're right, Ron. It's not like I'm going to go over to wearing satin jeans. Yeah. Ah, Couch just cracked his tin of the beast open. Curious to know what your thoughts are, Couch. Now, you guys have to keep in mind, as I'm saying, I don't find this to be particularly strong or potent or anything. I have zero sensitivity to nicotine, so this might be something that'll put people on the floor. I have a genetic inability to sense nicotine, apparently. So Sebastian, the deal is that I try to do at least one bowl a day for the rest of the month. I don't always do that, but that's what I try to do. So I try to do one bowl a day, and I will probably, on the third Sunday of the month, maybe the fourth Sunday, I will talk about it. Um, and I just realized that might have me talking about the beast on Easter Sunday. So, well, I won't do a video on Easter Sunday anyway. But yeah, we need to be careful with the timing on this one. Yeah, I will resist the urge, Paragon. It's a shame that Yornik isn't here tonight. I'm sure he would have some interesting things to add to this discussion. Janie, there you go, but I digress. Yeah. Ah, Piper Oki, you're just in time. Yeah, Michael, don't think about that. Well, Flint Hill, you're making an excellent point there with, well, you don't intend to make it, but mix the beast with Devil's Holiday is funny. But, is Devil's Holiday, like, should I not, because I'm a Catholic, should I not smoke Devil's Holiday? Um, and I'll just come out and say it. I'm a cradle Catholic. I've been a Catholic my whole life. I went to 12 years of Catholic school. I studied theology. Not, I wasn't a theology major, but I took theology classes in college. I took comparative religion classes in college. I'm not an idiot when it comes to these things, and I just don't see the problem of buying a tin of Devil's Holiday and enjoying it, or buying a tin of the Beast and enjoying it. It doesn't mean I'm worshiping Satan. But everybody, religion is a very personal thing, and I truly don't mean to put this person down. Again, I don't even know. I just heard the rumors, and some folks were defending it, saying that he wasn't telling anybody else what to do, and that's admirable. Uh, But it just seems a bit silly to me that people would even care about this. And what's funny is as soon as I started talking about the tobacco, everybody started talking about this without any instigation from me other than showing it the tobacco. People started saying, "Oh, so and so is going to be mad and whatnot." So it clearly resonated. Yes, should we stop eating deviled eggs, Carrie? What about deviled ham? Does anybody is there still deviled ham? Is that still a thing? Absolutely. Absolutely, Sachi. If this is the worst thing I've done, uh I've been a far better person than I could ever have hoped. Yeah, you can't be a Devils fan. Indeed. It just goes on and on. Uh anyway. Yeah, you couldn't buy the Dirt Devil. Oh, we should stop this. I could imagine Jimmy Aiken doing that, Flint Hill. Yes. I've been curious about Jimmy Aiken's tobacco choices. I've actually thought about getting in touch with him and seeing if he would want to do a Friday night with us sometime. I don't know if he'd be down for that, but that's the funny thing, Piperoki. In my opinion, I agree with you. If they came out with a tobacco and said it's Jesus tobacco, I would probably be more offended by that. Um, I think I think that would be more blasphemous indeed. And yet I think there's people out there that would never even consider smoking Devil's Holiday, but they would jump at the opportunity to get some Jesus tobacco, and that's just strange. It's strange. But again, religion is a personal thing, and we shouldn't be judging other people's faith, and I'm not doing that. I hope you don't think I'm doing that. I just don't think we should be telling other people what to do when it comes to things like this. So, Doug, does deviled ham still exist, or is it just something that us old guys remember? Because I haven't seen it in a long time. I remember the Underwood deviled ham commercials with a little cartoon devil running around. Rookie old guy, you might have a problem there. That is funny. Sachi Papa, if I went to confession and told the priest that I was confessing that I was smoking some sort of tobacco, he would probably reach through the little screen and smack me. Yeah, let's get Holy Smoke and Pipe Padre to weigh in on this. It's a good idea, Gordy. Rass on Wheels, how you doing tonight? Deviled ham still exists, Carrie? Well, I'm glad to know that for some reason. I don't really remember eating it. And if I did eat it, I don't remember it being very good. I can imagine ham with like a lot of relish mixed in with it and mayonnaise, which just doesn't taste good in my opinion. Well, there you go. Dry Fly Fisher 11 checked with the Ouija board and it says it's good, so we're good to go. It's funny you say that, Doug, because I always thought of Jesus as a haunted bookshop guy. Underwood is still available. Okay, cool. Very cool. And Paragon makes deviled ham so good it's sinful. There you go. They relabeled deviled ham to cat food, says David G. Now, Vienna sausages are bizarre. Matthew, I worked at a grocery store for a summer, and one of my jobs was restocking that aisle where the Vienna sausages was. And I could not believe how quickly they turned over. I never had known anyone that said, "Boy, I like those Vienna sausages." I knew a lot of people that said, "Ugh, I tried one of those and they were awful." But yet they turned over. You know, Sachi Papa, I might be thinking of ham salad um, instead of deviled ham. I just don't remember. But yes, it could be the devil. Yeah, I don't like ham, to be honest. I'm uh I'm odd in that way. I don't mind pork, like like a pork loin or pork chops, but ham, I've never really been a big fan of ham. So Hazard Board tells us that Lane 1Q is the holiest of tobaccos. I'm sorry, that's actually really funny. So let's think about this. If there are indeed tobaccos that are evil, for lack of a better word, then there must be, right? We have to have the other end of the spectrum. So what would be the tobacco that would be most favored in terms of being holy or being pious? That raises an interesting question. They barter Vienna sausages in prison? Really? Congealed meat in a can. That really is appetizing, Carrie. That's funny, 1 PS. Ham pot pie? No, no. I don't think I'd like that, Sachi. I got no problem with sausages, Doug. It's just that those Vienna sausages, they were spongy and I don't know. Father Dempsey's Three Nuns. Okay, we got some suggestions for the holy pious tobaccos. Presbyterian mixture is another good one, Doug. Yes. Smoke it on your way to heaven. Mary Monk. You know, there are certain religions and branches of Christianity even that say that just by smoking we are imperiling our soul, or at least preventing ourselves from reaching a state of enlightenment. Most Buddhists would say that you shouldn't smoke or drink alcohol. And I'm not in any way criticizing that. I'm just pointing out the fact that there are certainly religions that point to that and say that's a problem. I do believe that Baptists are against smoking. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's true. Big Country Briar, how's it going, Cole? And then there are some that say smoking is a form of prayer, Brian. Absolutely. Do I really have to Google it, Sachi Papa? Am I going to regret this? Am I going to be getting strange ads from Google for the rest of my life now? Oh, I got to tell you about my movie theater experience tonight. It's a food. French fries topped with sliced sausages and various condiments. Interesting. Thinly sliced pan-fried beef sausages or sometimes hot dogs. Well, there you go. I did not know that, Sachi Papa. Thank you. It's the Methodists that forbid tobacco. Okay. Baptists don't drink or smoke around other Baptists. Gotcha. Again, I'm not being critical of anyone's religious beliefs because I mean I'm nothing but a flawed sinner myself, and I freely admit to that. So we went to the restaurant that we got our. So we were going to go out to eat, and then it was just too crowded. So we wound up going into this restaurant that's actually connected to a movie theater, not very far from my house. They've got good food, and we ordered the food, and then they have a little bar out in the lobby of the movie theater. And we went and sat at the bar and had a drink while we waited for the food to be ready. And the movie theater is playing two movies right now. One is Snow White, which nobody apparently went to, and the other is this new Minecraft movie. And I know nothing about Minecraft other than it's a video game, and they made a movie about it. And there, we're sitting at this bar. It's my wife and I, and there's this guy sitting there. He's got like a laptop, and he's talking to people on the phone and stuff. He's just doing his thing. And it turns out that he brought his kids to see the Minecraft movie, but he had no interest in it. And I thought, this is brilliant. This is a brilliant idea. So he takes the kids, they go into the movie theater, he sits at the bar, has a couple of beers, watches the game, gets some work done, beautiful. So that's what he was doing. And about, we only were there for like 15 minutes because we're waiting for the food to get done. But during the time that we're there, two of his kids, he had three kids in the theater, two of them come out and start talking to him. And he said, the movie's over already? And they said, no, we're only halfway through, but we had to leave. It was horrible. It was the worst movie I've ever seen. These are like 12, 10-year-old kids. The one kid said it hurts my eyes. And this was completely unprovoked. These kids came out of the theater to tell their dad that this movie was horrible. And I thought, boy, that's a ringing endorsement, isn't it? We're just Hollywood is off its darn rocker. Baptist entrance on the back door. There you go, Michael. The one time the Baptists wear a veil is that again, guys, we're not making fun of Baptists or any other religion here. We're just making fun of the perceptions of things like tobaccos and alcohols. And yeah. Phillies won. All right. Thank you, Michael. You're right, Sebastian. They've been off the rocker for decades, but it seems like they just keep doubling down on insanity. I don't know if any of you have been following this whole Snow White drama, and I have to admit I have zero interest in the film other than I saw the original when I was a very young child, I kind of think it was important to me because it's like one of the earliest movies I remember seeing, and they seem to have done everything in their power to destroy it with this new remake. And then they hired this awful person to be the voice of it, and she's going off alienating people and just mouthing off every chance she gets, and it just tanked. It was on the one hand really sad to see because I remember what Disney used to be. I think it was a wonderful thing, and they did such beautiful work. And now to see what they've become is sad. But at the same time, I have to admit there was a certain amount of Schadenfreude in watching this thing burn. I do wonder where that phrase comes from, Doug. That's an interesting question. Indeed, Michael, there was some scary stuff in that original movie for kids. Where's the time gone? Indeed, Gary. It's hard to believe it's almost 9:30. I think you're right, 1PS. I really think you're right. Thank you, Ron. I appreciate that. Oh, really, Sebastian? So there's confirmation from another young nephew. Just wanted to leave. My goodness. Yeah, it looks like they're set to lose about a $500 million on that, Sachi. Goodness. Still don't eat apples after that. Yeah, Michael, I get you. That there was if you haven't seen the original Snow White, try to find it and watch it. If for nothing else, just for the quality of the animation. I mean, I know it's probably not really high on your list of things to watch, but it was so well done. Um, yeah. Ah, Sailor, good to see you, buddy. Thank you for popping in. Yeah, Mike, The Wizard of Oz creeped me out as a kid too, and it seemed like it was always on around Easter for some reason. And I tried to watch it, but yeah, there was something about it that just was creepy. Babes in Toyland, David? My goodness. I haven't seen any commercials or anything, Carrie, but the poster that was up in the lobby looked very bright and colorful. Um, yeah, I could easily imagine it being visually stimulating for sure. So Matthew says he saw the new vampire movie Orlok. Is that different from Nosferatu? Um, I haven't seen either, but I did just this past week watch Shadow of the Vampire, which you guys have been telling me to watch forever, and I think I saw it a long time ago, but parts of it just seemed new to me. It was funny. It's one of those movies where I'm watching it, I'm saying, yeah, I've seen this, but then something would happen that surprised me. But that's a great movie. Uh, Older movie, but fantastic. That's interesting, Doug. So it goes back to trolleys. My goodness. Brutal enough. I guess you missed a good discussion. I never know. I hope it was an enjoyable discussion at least. But I'm going to enjoy smoking this stuff. This is going to be a good month. So thank you for choosing the tobacco of the month this week, which is Cornell and Deal, the Beast. God preserve us all. Off your trolley is also an old expression. That's interesting, Michael. Yeah, it kind of sounds right, off your trolley. Huh. Well, folks, we are past time, and I'm tired. It's been a long week, so I'm going to bring this to a close. I want to thank you all for joining me tonight, especially through the rather rambly discussion we had, but it was fun. Hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. And I thank you guys for showing up. You always make this the high point of my week, and I greatly appreciate it. So I will be back next week with more of this. I will be back on Sunday with a video discussing something or the other. Probably none of what we discussed tonight. So with that, my friends, I hope you all have a great weekend and a fantastic week ahead. So with that, I shall finish this. And I wish you all the best. Take care.